Welcome again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. We are here again with one more exciting round of webinar in a series of webinars, what we have done, and many more to come. Today, we are talking about cloud native, accelerate innovation with cloud native services. How we do that, how Compunal is doing that. So we'll be going through all that. We all build applications. We build enterprise applications for our clients, for our internal users, and then we deploy them on the cloud environment. How will we do that? What kind of trends are there? The growth path over a period of time. Gartner shared a report where it mentioned that less than 30% of the organizations in 2020 were using cloud and were deploying everything on cloud native, which grown up to after pandemic by end of 2023, it's expected to 75%, around 75% of the organizations would be going on cloud. And that would scale up to 90%, more than that by end year of 2025. So now the big question is, are you there? Are you in those 90%? Trend is very clear. The trend says set. Industry is moving towards cloud. Before we start into the webinar, there are a few rules I would like to set up so that we all are able to deliver this as per the expectations. Feel free to share your question and answers in the QA box. We will take all those, get those answered at the end of the presentation. Just to make sure that we are effective, we have put everyone on mute. And surprises, there is an assessment by the subject matter expert at the end. So you all can go for that complimentary assessment. Just fill the form. That link would be at the end of the webinar. I'm your host. This is Manish Garg. I'm Senior Program Manager at Compunal. With me, I have two special guests, Sandeep Kumar, who is part of Compunal as AVP Digital Solutions, and Kiran Kumar Talawai, Director Cloud Practices. Without any taking further time, I would like to invite these gentlemen. Hey, Sandeep. Hey, Kiran.
Hey, hi, Manish. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandeep Kumar. I work in the capacity of AVP Digital Solutions in Compunal. With nearly 20 years of IT experience, I'm a digital transformation and cloud service expert. I've served multiple customers in achieving digital transformation. My passion is to support and guide my customers to achieve digital transformation. While during my personal time, I love to spend quality time with family and reading books. I am an athlete by nature. I have strong passion for running. That's a quick and a brief introduction about me. I'll pass it on to Kiran.
Thanks, Sandeep. Hello, everyone. My name is Kiran. I have IT industry experience with over 16 years of experience. I have been involved in this cloud transformation journey for at least 8 to 10 years. And I have been involved in modernizing the legacy applications to microservices on Azure and AWS and on GCP. I am a TOGAF certified architect, and currently I work as a director of cloud practices at Compunal. I'm also a Kubernetes administrator, certified Kubernetes certified administrator. I'm a DevOps certified, as well as I'm an Azure cloud architect. With this, we would like you to have a cloud journey with us in this webinar. Let's move forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandeep. And thanks, Kiran, for having that quick intro. And Sandeep, we would love to have that athlete part in the cloud as a part of Sprint. So make sure that you sprint, you guide us during that.
Absolutely, Manish.
Okay. The agenda is clear. I think is all about how, when, why. I'm not going to get into the details. I think these two gentlemen are there to take us through the journey. And before I hand over to them, I have very exciting, I talked in my earlier, we have a very excited, I would say, one-to-one complementary assessment of the current landscape. So you all can be part of that. Please feel free to fill in the form. I'll share the link at the end of the webinar. Make sure you fill that and get that 101 expert assessment of your landscape by these panel of experts. Without wasting any time, over to you, Sandeep.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Manish, and welcome everyone again. The world is evolving with technological advancements. It is about developing faster, deploying faster, customer experience, innovation, expansion, security, and control. We are in the era of cloud, where cloud native approach is a must to achieve factor like scalability, interoperability, cost efficiency. But if you think about the last 2 to 3 years of development that have happened around globe, it is in terms of content, scale, speed, availability. We all are consumers and dependent on it. For example, I would like to quote here is Netflix. So everybody is, it's become part of our life now. But behind the scene, CXOs, CIOs, and the development team end up spending a lot of hours to actually expedite the scalability, interoperability, as well as reliability of such infrastructure and applications. Do you know what is it that they did so that billions of people continue using the application without any interruption? Well, it is cloud-native microservices. In today's webinar, we are going to actually deep dive into certain areas that could actually help you introspect on your infrastructure, architectural mechanism, and technology stack, and help you plan for future. Let's get started. We are talking about cloud-native microservices. What actually we mean by cloud-native microservices? So these are small components which are independent, loosely coupled, but are designed to run on cloud platforms. These microservices are expected to perform a dedicated function. Well, these microservices comes up with a lot of advantage. These are deployed as lightweight containers, and containers are nothing but packages of software that contain all the necessary elements to run on any environment. Well, they are self-sufficient to run on their own. They are highly scalable, flexible enough to expand on business needs. Since they are easy to deploy, so result in faster time to market and help you innovate. These services are part of the cloud services. So integrating them with CI/CD help you develop faster, deploy faster, and of course, this will reduce your development cycles. Now, in order to adopt these cloud-native microservices, how we can help our C-suite executive to strategize and succeed? I would like to highlight a few of these points here, and I'll start with the first one, which says ensuring IT alignment with business objectives. Very important. Building a team, a right combination of team and a culture in the organization. Managing cost, making sure that the security and compliances are not compromised. While we have these legacy systems, so we need to make sure that the integration with this legacy system and the complexity is managed. Continuous delivery and deployment will be part of the discussion. I would like to pick up the first one. Next, please. Yes, aligning IT with business objective using cloud-native technologies. So what ideally organization should have? They should have clear definition of business objective, key performance indicator that should be aligned with the overall organization goals. You should develop an IT strategy that support these business objectives and align with the organization overall strategy. Identifying the cloud-native technologies and practices that help these IT teams to achieve these objectives and implement them in a coordinated manner, while fostering a culture of collaboration and continuous improvement between IT and business team that will enable these teams to work together efficiently and effectively. Since we set up these KPIs, it is very important to monitor the progress, measure the success against KPIs. But the most important part of it is involving the C-suite executives as part of the planning and decision-making process. So all these factors will help C-suite executive to align IT and the business objectives. Few of the key factors I would like to talk here, which are major contributor to the IT, is achieving operational efficiency, enhancing flexibility, enabling agility, promoting the collaboration, promoting innovation. So these are the factors which will help IT team and the business team to collaborate together.
Sandeep, while we talk about the C-suite executives, you mentioned about how the team should be aligned with the business objectives. So who in the organization do you see should or are the torchbearers to take this initiative forward?
Well, there is a defined role in the organization, which is your a chief digital officer that can take care of this role, but it is not well defined in terms for a single person or any specific person. Any executive who owns this, who has a vision, who can align IT and the business, can take care of that role, Manish.
Okay, that's great.
Right. So the next aspect is to build a right team and a right culture. Well, leveraging the cloud native services will help you build that culture within the team. This is such a niche technology which will help you attract and retain the top talent. Having a top talent with a niche technology will of course help you drive innovation and a culture of growth within the organization. Now, if you build a culture where you have a niche talent and innovation culture, of course, that will result in continuous improvement, innovation, and excellence into your system. What are the value to the organization when we are talking about building a right team and a culture? I would like to take it from top. Enhancing transparency. Well, cloud native technologies can enhance transparency by providing real-time visibility into this system, their performances, their logs, and other key matrices. Well, this will help team to identify and address issues more quickly and enable them to communicate and collaborate across the teams. We know we all gone through the pandemic, so enabling remote work. How cloud native technologies will help enabling remote work for the team is that cloud computing microservices, they can help enable remote work by allowing these team members to access the resources and services they need from anywhere over the internet. Well, this can help the organization to attract and of course giving that flexibility to team members for remote work will help them retain also. Agility we talked about, that's cloud native services will help in building and increasing the agility of the team. I would like to talk more about empowering the continuous learning aspect of it, how cloud native technologies can help us. So containerization, DevOps practices, all these promote continuous learning by enabling team to experiment with new technologies and approaches in a safe and a controlled manner. This can help team to stay up to date with the latest industry trends. Promoting collaboration. Well, cloud native technologies will help facilitate collaboration by providing team members with real-time access to these resources like databases, your code repositories, documentation, and this will bring efficiency in the team and more collaboration. The most important part of it is fostering innovation. Cloud native technologies help foster innovation by providing team with a set of tools and resources which they need to experiment with the new ideas and develop new products and services. Well, we talked about cloud-native microservices, their benefits, how IT alignment with business and team culture can be built. As a next step, I would like to invite my colleague Kiran to take us on the journey to cloud-native transformation and other strategies for supporting C-suite executives. Kiran.
Thanks, Sandeep. It was very insightful when you spoke about aligning IT and business objectives and building the right team and the culture. Yeah, with this, let us leap towards the cloud native journey. So before we start the journey, being a business leader, I would like to ask a few questions and let us introspect ourselves. Do I want a rapid time to market? Do I want better return on investments? Do I want a full-fledged automation? Do I want a better system resiliency, the better system performance? Do I want a future proof on the investment what I made on the cloud? And lastly, do I want the more visibility on the operations? If the answer is yes, then we have to do a cloud journey. With this, we can provide value to a customer and gain the confidence of the customers. If you look at the journey here, there are two ways we can achieve the cloud journey. One is migrate and modernize. Migrate is nothing but we take the infrastructure, the on-premise applications which are hosted on-premise, and we just lift and shift to the cloud. We call it as also a rehost. Here, no code changes are done, no application architecture is changed. It is just lift and shift on the cloud. We call it as migration. Okay, we have moved to the cloud now. Does it mean that we are completely cloud native? No, still we have not yet reached the phase of modernize. Okay, now we have done the migration. Now let us modernize. How do we modernize? Right, with a minimum code change, like using the code changes where we write the Docker files. If I'm using Docker as a synonym to containerization, I'll just write a Docker script to deploy the applications, the artifacts created by the existing applications. And also I use the cloud managed services, whether it could be the managed databases, cache, or the Kubernetes, which is the container orchestrator. So these are all the PaaS solutions plus containers. If I deploy with a minimum code changes, then we call it as a cloud optimized apps. Are we in a phase of modernization? Yes, we are in a phase of modernization, but still we cannot call it as a cloud native. Cloud native is something where you decompose the existing legacy application and convert it into microservice architecture and deploy on a container-based clusters or go as a serverless. Here, the architecture is touched and it is rebuilt and recoded. That's where our cloud native apps, then we can call it as we have achieved the cloud native journey. So being this as a roadmap and traveling to this roadmap is not easy. There could be so much of the mistakes are done, and we have seen, many of them are repenting taking this journey. But we as experts, we have identified 5 main pillars which can help us in accelerating this journey. So let's go on to the first one. Manish.
Sure.
Okay, so if you look at this, first building block, I'm taking it as about the security. As per Gartner report, it says by 2025, 99% of data protection is given by cloud. But still, most of the the security layers has to be added by the application developers. So what are the challenges why we are talking and why we are taking security as a serious matter here? Data protection. Data protection becomes a prima importance in any of the application development. Cloud native generates a lot of data, a lot of logs, right? We have to protect the personal information, the financial information. And if any security breach happens there, then it can lead to identity theft and the consequences when what happens when the identity theft is done, right? So, and cloud is everywhere. It sits on different data centers in different continents, different geographical locations. We have to accept the law of land and we have to bound to their regulations and industry standards. So that becomes a challenging thing. Then the deployments, we do all the the security assessment and all that. We secure our applications and all, but there is something called the deployment pipeline. Most of the people ignore deployment pipeline that gives a gateway for any of the security breach. If a hacker gets hold of our deployment pipelines, just like a DevOps solutions, then he can breach and he can bring in so much of vulnerabilities and impeachments in this. And also cloud is what it's some other systems, right? We put our data over there. It's a shared cloud, multi-tenancy.
Kiran, we can see you in a cloud, so we can see you again behind the screen, the cloud. So maybe if you can just be visible, that would be great. Because again, yes, you are talking about cloud. I think we need to be very clear. The face and the docking is there. So sorry for interruption.
Okay. Is it good? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, since we were talking about cloud and I went behind the cloud, so that's okay. So we are talking about the shared cloud. It's a multi-tenancy. We are putting our data on someone else's system, and how do we trust that system? Because if one application is compromised, all the application will be all the data is compromised. So there are so many things which we have to consider. Right, we have to go with a shared responsibility model. Okay, we cannot completely rely on the security or trust what has been given by the cloud. We should secure our application by having multi-layered networking model, right? And the second thing is we should have multi-factor authentication model of authentication and authorizations. We should have a model and a framework and a checklist to have the regulations and industry standards. We should have a better DevOps practices, and also we should have DevSecOps. We should secure our APIs by OAuth, JOT, tokenizations, and by the strong credentials. And also we should have something called BCDR. We call it as business continuity and disaster recovery. If one of our data center is compromised, it should not stop our business. We should switch to the other data center and we should secure all the data, and we should stop the spreading of that malware in by kill switch. And also we should have a private networking, private lines we should use as much as possible for our internal communications. So with this, the value proposition, what we have added to most of the clients who went with cloud native with us. So we have migrated tens of terabytes of business data from on cloud to on premise. And also we have established a real-time data sync between the two platforms, the cloud and the on-prem, and also on the multiple cloud platforms. And we have helped the customers, to achieve, to get the successful audit reports when it comes to compliances, whether it could be PII, PCI, or the GDPR. And we have not come up with any complaint related to data breaches from our customers. I think we should take that as an appreciation, and where security is taken as very much prime importance when building the cloud native. So with this, what is the benefit we get? We get the better reputation. You might have seen the big companies, data centers get breached and it comes on the news and the reputation is spoiled. We should not end up with those kind of situation. So By proper data protection and proper compliances, we can enhance the reputation. We can bring up the customer trust. Customer only puts their data on our platform if they trust our the infrastructure and the security policies. With this, also we can avoid penalties and the auditing costs. Penalties are paid whenever we fail to follow the compliances, and regulation bodies will penalize us. So these all can be avoided with better security practices. With this, we will move to the next building block. Okay, so security, we have taken care of it. Now it comes to cost. Many of the clients come to me and ask, how can we track the cost when we are using the multi-cloud? How can we track where is the wastage of resources? How can we track who has created the resources and who is giving the access to them, right? My 2 cents to them is, I'll ask them, have you implemented a cost monitoring tool for a cloud? And if they're not, then immediately my suggestion is first integrate that with your cloud CSPs, cloud service providers. With this, we have helped a few of the customers by reducing their cost. Cloudability is one of the tools, and also we have many tools like Cloud Zero and many more. Cloudability tool is one of the best in the market, and we have integrated with the customers, and the customers are happy with that, and they have showed up the cost savings by 15%. And what these tools does, they aggregate the data from different cloud service providers. They create a comprehensive dashboard, and they will give the unit prices and the usage, and also it gives us a suggestion which can be decommissioned and where the better optimization can be done. So all that features are provided by these cost management tools. And also, one of the customer came to us and they told, and this is a real valid suggestion what you want. They did not wanted their development, test environments, and the staging environments running over the night, because no one will code in the night and no one will test in the night, and also over the weekend. So what we did, we wrote an infrastructure as code, the IAC automation code, where it will automatically shut down the services by 9 p.m. every night, and automatically the services are up running at 9 a.m. in the morning. So these are the ways where we have given a value proposition to few of our customers, right? And what are the practices apart from this? We can go for a multi-cloud strategy. See, the cloud prices does not remain same across multiple clouds. For example, the EC2 instance is a little bit expensive when we compare to virtual machine of Azure. How? If you go by the Microsoft licensing, whatever we use for MS Office, if you go for those kind of licensing model, then obviously the cost of Azure will be cheaper. So we have to go into that kind of negotiation whenever we are going for a multi-cloud strategy. And the cloud sprawling is one more challenge. People just go there and create multiple accounts without proper authorization and approvals. But how do we prevent that? By leveraging automation and through infrastructure as code. If any infrastructure is requested by anyone, then we should not go manually and create it, but it should go by a deployment process, and we will develop and we will set up the infrastructure for that. So in this way, we can save significant cost savings for our clients. So this also becomes one of the pillar whenever we are going for a cloud native journey. With this, can we move on?
Sure. So I think there's a time to poll. We have the poll here is, what is the most significant hurdle you face while budget? So again, the same question here with all those 4 options. Moving on to the next Kiran, back to you.
Okay. So let's move on to our third building block or third element when we consider the cloud journey. It's about managing the complexities of the complicated applications. In a cloud native, everything is distributed. So when it comes to managing the complex applications, I'd like to bring up one of the scenario which we experienced back in 2017 when Apple 10 was launched. Apple 10 was launched, and the big retailers like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Best Buy, and many more, they all wanted to sell the iPhone 10, and the launch time was 12 a.m. in the midnight. And everyone were ready for the deployments, and they did a lot of load testing and A/B testing and all that, and it was launched. After exactly 20-25 minutes, one of the application crashed of one of the big retailer. It was down for good 20 minutes, I believe, yeah. And the hell broke loose, and lot of millions of dollars of business was lost. But that gave a other business competitive advantage for others who were well prepared. So this made me to think, what could have gone wrong with them? Why did not their application perform as they expected? Because they did a lot of load testing, everything they had done, but something they have missed, which is very significant to analyze. Right? They did not scale when it was required. And the footfall or the traffic was more than expected. They did not scale. That's what the application, the requests were piling up, and eventually it brought the application down. It crashed the system. And what is that? They did not see a big picture. How many the customers are logging in and how many are doing the transactions. I think they did not have a better visibility of the application. And they did not had a better transactional boundaries. Without that, I think they might have not gone with the well architecture. Then their systems were not reliable. They were not resilient to failures. That's the reason why it got crashed. And there are so many other reasons, and that could be the challenge for any of the cloud native application developers. Right. So what is that we have to do to avoid such kind of situations? We have to use microservice architecture. Never we will go for, whenever we wanted to go for on a cloud journey, it's always better to go for a microservice architecture where we decompose and we run independently each of the modules connecting to their own independent databases and run it as a processor. So that's what the microservice architecture talks about, right? Yeah, then how do we deploy? We have to deploy by using containers. I think containers or the Docker, I see in my career that one of the very significant discovery when it comes to a deployment technology. Okay, now you have a container, but someone has to manage that, right? So we have the orchestrator. We call it as a Kubernetes, or if you are not happy with the Kubernetes, then we can go for OpenShift, Red Hat OpenShift. So these are all the container orchestrators. Okay, then they might have done testing in the lower environments, but what is that they missed? They might have missed the infrastructure as code. They might have created the environments in a different way in each of the environment, right? That could be one of the reasons where they did not, expect the production to shut down. And they might have not practiced continuous integration, continuous testing, and continuous delivery. I'd like to add two more to this: continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. That should be a part of any of our automation practices. And we have to have a better observability. There are so many observability tools available in the market. We have to go for it, and we should have the notification alerts at the back of our applications. Then we should have the better distributed tracing, where to pinpointly say where the application is going wrong. We should have the chaos engineering to test the resilient systems. What we do in chaos engineering, we implant some of the code where it goes and builds the goes and destroys the application. With that, we can see whether is it causing the cascading failures or it is self-healing by itself. And also we can use service mesh, that's like an umbrella on top of microservices, so for point-to-point communication, and takes the heavy lift of configurations. So with all this best practices, what we did, right? We have enabled customers with at least 99.99% availability of applications. What does it mean? The customer has downtime of less than 15 minutes every year. That's the availability what we have provided to our customers. And also we have helped a lot of customers to move from a monolithic to a cloud-native microservices. So this brings our experience on how we manage the complexities of complicated systems on cloud-native. So with this, I'd like to quickly call out what are the benefits, right, with this. If you use the IAC and container orchestration, we can auto scale up and auto scale down. We can bring in more innovations when when the better practices have been followed when we are maintaining the complexities. We can have a better security and trust. We can have a rapid time to market. We can have a better visibility, and we can take a better decision-making calls. And more important than that, always we will be having a reliable systems. With this, we would like to move on next building block. Manish?
With there, Kiran, is a legacy integration with Cloud-Native Microservices.
Yeah. So, okay, we want to modernize the system. It doesn't mean that we'll throw away our legacy system straight away overnight, right? Always we should have a legacy and the cloud-native applications handshaking between each other. But whenever we do this, there are so many challenges. The cloud is always upgraded and on top of technology, on latest technologies. But the on-premise, it could be having the outdated hardware and softwares, right? The old version softwares. But with this, we'll see a lot of compatibility issues. The handshaking would be difficult, and the data integration issues. So since both are running on two different platforms, whenever we try to integrate, there could be an issue of data consistency. Then security concerns. Since legacy applications are maybe on outdated hardware, it could have already been exposed to security vulnerabilities. Then interoperability issues, right? One data formats or the versions or the softwares could not match with each other. So it cannot be easy lift and shift from on-premise to cloud. So these are few of the challenges what we see when we integrate legacy systems with a cloud native journey. So what we can do here, right? We can implement the APIs, the REST APIs, where they can have the SLAs where they can talk to each other between the cloud and the on-prem. We can use middlewares like TIBCO, where they have already the models where they can connect between the different systems. We can use messaging like Kafka and RabbitMQ, where it uses the message broker in between and communicates. We can use the event-driven architecture, where events generated in cloud can be captured by on-prem and the vice versa. We can have a hybrid cloud architecture, and we can ensure data security and privacy across the IT infrastructure. And also we should have some good governance and best practices when we deal with the integrations and the integration principles. So with this, what is the value proposition we have brought to our customers? There was a customer where they had a solid infrastructure on-prem, but they did not have a front-end application, the responsive front-end application, which was performing well on that hardware what they had. So they wanted to use the cloud-native services like the Logic apps. So what we did, we built a responsive app, and we built a wrapper and adapters to communicate with the legacy systems. With that, they were able to clock till 6K orders per hour during the holiday season. So that's one of the value proposition what we gave. And for other customers also, we have given a better UI UX experience with cloud native services, provided the backend is completely on-prem. So with this, what are the benefits we get? Better scalability, better cost savings, because already they have the better hardware on the cloud. Improved customer experience, that's what we help with UI UX experience. Improved data analytics we can provide, because we have the better business intelligence models on the cloud, where it can suck the data from on-prem and provide the better analytics. With this, we can provide the efficient systems. With this, we can move on to the new next deck. Next slide, Manish.
Yeah, Kiran, we're there. So it's all about pain out, taking the pain.
Yeah. So this becomes a very important slide, and it's one of my favorite slide. Being myself a DevOps, certified DevOps engineer. Okay, so we have, as a developer has developed the code, the testers have tested the application, product owners are happy, but how do we deploy it? How do we release faster to the market? Right? How do we prevent manual intervention? How do we prevent the slow release cycles, right? And how do we bring the more observability? So this all comes as a part of automation. And the less manual intervention, the less error-prone the applications would be. That's what now most of the organization try to go for a full-fledged automation. So what are the best practices what we can bring in here, right? We have to go for a culture of DevOps. What is DevOps? DevOps is a union of two cultures, the development culture and the operations culture, where it brings the speed and agility for our organization for the faster time to market. We have to implement the continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, monitoring, all the 5 C's, what I said. We have to go for a containers. That's it becomes the backbone of any cloud native application. When we talk about containers, it should be backed by the container orchestrations. And also we should be going with a better observability tools to have a predictive analysis of how our application can behave in future. So with this, what is the value proposition we are giving to the customers? We have helped customers to deploy at least 20 times a day for most of the customers. They can go with faster time to market with this, and they have saved a lot of cost savings with automation, and they have increased their agility by building new products for every release, and they are less prone to the defects and the bugs induction. And more importantly, it has helped for them with a high availability, where we call it as business continuity, even in the disasters. So with this, I would like to move on to the next slide, Manish.
Yeah, before that, I think, Kiran, what you mentioned about doing the deployment 20 times a day, that's quick.
Yeah.
I can relate to the times where heading the teams for multiple projects, keep pushing the teams to do the deployment, and the kind of energy, time spent for each deployment, manual deployment. I think if we are doing that 20 per day, that's huge. That's a real value.
Yeah. I still remember the nights where we used to sit over the night and deploy, and morning the testers used to come and test, and again they used to raise the defects, and that cycle used to go on. That's those are the pain points which
that's the pain you're talking about. That's very close to you. That's great. Thank you. Thanks. Yep. I think now moving on to the next, we have the poll time again. I hope you guys have done your polls. And now let me move to the next screen. And I'll bring here Sandeep to share the use case. I think this is again what the pain was close to Kiran. Now this is, I remember this is very close to you. So over to you.
Great. Thank you, Manish. And thank you, Kiran, for our detail, very, very insightful. I would like to talk about this case study, which is one of our esteemed customer, our e-commerce giant. This is a California-based online retailer spread across US, UK, India, Japan, China, and Germany. They were mostly focused into B2C kind of selling. And they had, when they approached us, they had a couple of problem statements. I listed some of them here, which talks about that their challenge was that launching a new product was taking a long time. Well, even if they launch, the product was unstable. One of the major problem statement coming from this customer. They have a lot of operational overheads coming up. That is something they want us to address. In terms of scale also, since they were growing onto various regions, so they want to make sure that this product is scalable enough. And the key, another key aspect in terms of ignoring and making sure that the manual interventions are reduced. Although they were doing, they were just keeping the lights on, they want to reduce this so that their core team can spend time onto the critical parts. So what we did during this transformation was we did the complete digital transformation for this product. Well, this product was started as a POC, which got into a situation and it expanded so big that it was difficult to manage. So we re-engineered this product. It was a complete transformation. We handhold this customer by doing the discovery and assessment again of their system, and then analyzing, doing the development and to deployment. It was totally built on Cloud-Native Microservices, built on serverless architecture onto AWS platform. There were a couple of microservices which I want to highlight, which were very critical, which were developed as part of this complete solution, and they were performing a specific task for the activity. Since it is an e-commerce customer, some of these microservices were performing order management, some of them were performing product management, product listing, offer listing, courier tracking. So each of these microservices were performing their specified task. When we deliver this customer, this product to the customer, it was a complete modernized platform, which is very helpful in order to achieve some of the key aspects which I mentioned into the third section. That the time to market for launching a new product or doing an integration, that was drastically reduced for this product. Originally, it was 2 months to deploy or to release anything to production so that it can reach to the end customer. So now it got reduced to 2 weeks, which is one sprint. So we were able to achieve faster time to market here. As I mentioned into one of my problem statement, they want to utilize their core team to work on the other critical things. So with this platform in place, the core team time was reduced by 70%. So which means that they were only spending nearly 30% of their time onto some of the related tasks, but remaining 70% they were focusing on to the core competencies or core tasks which they are supposed to do. The ROI for this product got increased within 6 months. The gross merchandise volume was increased by 30% and gross merchandise sale increased by 25% in 6 months. During these 6 months, we integrated nearly 20 third-party logistics, drop shippers, marketplaces, and trackers in this platform, and that whole thing done within a duration of 6 months. So that's the value when we transform this product to Cloud-Native Microservices. That's what we achieved, and the wonderful and the delightful value we delivered to our customer was giving them the flexibility to accelerate their innovation. So we were quicker enough to decide, to implement, to fail fast, to deliver it to the customer, and giving that innovation opportunity to this customer. A wonderful experience shared by customer, and we are delighted to serve this customer. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I think it was great. Great insight of the current use case and the actual. Now, my question to you again is how you have done that, or how Compunal is doing that to make sure we serve our clients, our customers. So again, I would like you to take us through the Compunal way of doing and how you have achieved what you mentioned as a part of the use case.
Absolutely, Manish. And that's what we are calling as unlocking our potential in terms of cloud native. What we do with our customer is we provide an end-to-end expertise to our customer. So not only doing a brownfield implementation, I would say we handhold our customer from day one till it is deployed and released to production. We do strategy, we do consulting, we do development, and then deployment. That's the kind of experience we provide to our customer. Not only this, we have a strong expertise in terms of cloud-native microservices, DevOps, agile methodologies, defined processes which help our customer to achieve and deploy release faster. There are some other cases, Manish, where we have customized solutions also very specific to customer need. So these are brownfield implementation based on discussion. We do that tailored approach with our customers. Also, we have some strong experience in terms of seamless integration with the existing system, because we cannot ignore the legacy system. They are still running, but we need to build a way where they can be integrated into the existing systems and processes. We have a strong proven record in terms of demonstrating success, helping our customer achieve digital transformation. We are a trusted organization where across the industry, where we have served a lot of customers. And in recent days, I think in last 1 year, we were able to transform nearly 5 customers to digital transformation. The key aspect of our delivery and our commitment to the customer is that we provide a scalable and a future-proof solution to our customers. So when we talk about any of these solutions, some of the key components, scalability, flexibility, resilience, they are into our DNA. We serve our customer with these aspects. And important to make sure that we serve our customer well, we are keeping ourselves ahead in terms of latest technologies and trends and best practices. The most important aspect while unlocking the potential is we are strategic partner to our customer. If you remember, we talked about the alignment of IT and business, where we help C-suite executives. That's the kind of collaboration we do our C-suite folks. And of course, ongoing support and guidance throughout this digital transformation journey we provide to our customers.
That's great. I think this is a real value what you've narrated, and I think that shows the kind of use cases you handled and the kind of customers we have at Compunal. It's now I think I want next one more slide which says I want you just share what are the key takeaways the audience or anyone who is trying to adopt cloud they can immediately see as a part of this, but while adopting the cloud, what are the key takeaways they can have? Absolutely.
So we offer a comprehensive solution to the organization. And as I talked about, we help our customer to embrace cloud-native microservices. We help them drive digital transformation, end-to-end expertise, customized solution, and partnership. So we have a strong experience, and based on that experience and delivery, what we are suggesting is that if we handhold a customer, we help them achieve nearly 70% faster deployment. We help a customer to to increase their time to market by nearly 23x faster as compared to the original or the legacy or the non-DevOps processes. While having these DevOps processes in place, having the cloud-native microservices, agility as part of our complete delivery, we help our customer to get some of these data. We reduce the infrastructure cost by nearly 50% when we get into the cloud-native microservices and DevOps processes. Important figure is the development cycle improves by 33%. We reduce the bug cycle, we reduces the deployment and the overall build cycle by nearly 33%. So which in a way optimize the overall SDLC process. Another key aspect here is improving the code quality. As part of our pipelines, we build SonarQube, we build Codacy, where we provide all this information beforehand as part of the pipeline. Your code will be pushed only when you have those issues, those code quality things rectified. So this all helps and put a check and balances in terms of generating a quality code for our customer. So if I have to summarize, Manish, we are enabled, we are capable to help our customer to achieve all these stats quickly.
Thank you. I think this was really the key, what you mentioned about these outcomes and the takeaways for the audience, for the whosoever is taking care of the cloud journey.
Absolutely.
Now, I think this is what we were waiting, and this is what I mentioned earlier when I started this. Here is a chance for each one of you to have this as a complimentary 101 assessment of the current landscape in the current organization you are in. So I would like to have, maybe you have those link in the chat, but I would like to just walk you through in terms of where exactly that link would be. So that will give you the exact picture. This is Cloud Experts. Just click on this, you'll land up to a different page where it talks about the time you want to book and the dates. So just push in the details and our team will reach out to you. While you do that, I'll take you back to the presentation, and I'll have Sandeep and Kiran to take us to last couple of questions, I would say, before we wrap up. So Sandeep, would you like to share more about the assessment model, assessment we're trying to just mention here?
Sure. Right. As part of the offering, which we are suggesting to have a 30-minute workshop, this is the framework which we have built and will be utilizing to assess the current infrastructure and do assessment of your current infrastructure and technology stack. It's like a 6-step process which we will be performing. And the first step will be making sure that we understand the strategic alignment of the overall objective and the business goal. We'll do IT landscape inventory mapping of the current infrastructure, do a value assessment and scoring in terms of the current infrastructure and the technology stack. Based on all this, we'll prepare a future design state for you. And then once we have a future state, that's where we'll put in a plan in terms of roadmap, which will be the rationalization. And then, of course, last will be change management in case we need to do some alteration. So that will be there. So this is a high-level assessment model, which we'll be doing if you book a meeting with us. So we'll take you through and we'll do a small assessment for you.
Thanks, Sandeep. This is really exciting. And thanks for just giving that glimpse of what exactly we all can expect as a part of assessment and enticing everyone to just fill in there. Now, we have a good number of questions with us. So I'll go through those questions, and I would like maybe either Kiran or Sandeep, you guys, to start maybe responding to those. So I'm just stopping my screen. I'm stop sharing my screen so that we can at least now be visible.
Manish,
But
I'll take one of the question
go
over
ahead.
there. I'll take
Go ahead.
here.
Go ahead, please.
Here, John Heaps have asked any key considerations when implementing cloud-native microservices. Right. Yes, definitely we have to have some practices and principles when we are implementing the cloud-native microservices. We follow a design where we call it as a modern design, which would be having 5 T-nets. When we are building, we have to consider the reliability, we have to consider the security, cost optimization, operational excellency, and performance delivery. And also there is a widely accepted methodology called 12-factor app, where it builds the solid foundation while constructing the cloud-based native microservices. It describes predefined sets and principles. Basically, there are 12 principles with it, but lately 3 more have been added with API first and bringing in the AI practice to it. So systems usually built on these principles can deploy and scale rapidly and add features to react to market changes. So these are some of the considerations what we have to take care when we are building cloud-native microservices. And from the security point of view, definitely we should go for the private lines, the networking, and we should go for a strong authentication and authorization model using the strong credentials. We can go with auth 2.0 with JOT tokens, and many more. So these are some of the things which we have to consider when we are building the cloud-native microservices with some of the key security considerations.
Thanks, Kiran. And the next question again is from James Thompson. Is could you please elaborate on the usage of the Cloudability tool or any other cost management tool?
Yeah. So these are the tools which have come out to help the business leaders on optimizing the cost when we are going for a multi-cloud or a single cloud. This gives us, the comprehensive dashboard where we can view as a unit prices, and also it gives in a percentage wise how much percentage this resource has been used, how much percentage this resource has been sitting idle. Can this be disposed? Or and also it gives us, if there are any licensing involved, it gives us the reminders within these many days. The licensing cost will turn off. And along with that, we can set notifications, alerts, and approval process with these tools. So it brings a lot many functionalities when we consider going for cloud cost management tools. It sucks in data from multi-cloud and it gives a unified way to monitor.
And apart from the tool, I think the strategy which we build around the cloud, I think that also helps to manage the cost.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was great. The next question we have from Joel Park is operational efficiencies. Looks quite impressive. Thanks for that compliment. And can you share more about how you achieved it?
By automation. Automation played a very much a big role in operational efficiencies. When we call it automation, I will go in synonym with our DevOps and the DevSecOps practices. That's how
you talk about 5 C's.
Yeah, 5 C's: continuous integration, continuous testing, delivery, deployment, and continuous monitoring. That brings the best in operational efficiencies.
No, that's great. Now I have a question for Sandeep. So Sandeep, how do you evaluate the existing systems to do the cloud native transformation? So if someone has to evaluate, so what would be the key factors which says, okay, this is for me and I should get into that?
Well, Manish, in order to evaluate the current existing system, the key aspect is to understand their existing landscape. And if you remember, we talked about those 6 stages which is very important to understand and to evaluate what is their current situation. So making sure that we understand the strategic alignment, making sure that the IT landscape, that inventory is available with us, to make sure we understand what is the IT landscape, and then doing a value assessment and scoring. I think these are three factors which help us to evaluate what is the current state of any of the existing or a legacy system. Manish.
Okay, that's good. That's great. And maybe the one more to you is, what is the average build and deployment time period for the cloud native application? So what is that time do you think is?
Well, that depends on if you are really onto cloud-native microservices, you are already onto DevOps. If you are already there, you have a good pipeline in terms of delivery, in terms of deployment. You have your code coverage tools in place. You have your security scanners in place. You have automation in place. That's where for sure you'll achieve up to 70% percentage in terms of increase. When it comes to the non-DevOps, you'll have that challenge. But having these tools in place as part of your pipeline, you'll for sure achieve nearly 70% increase, Manish.
Okay, that's great. Maybe one more question I have, which on my window, it says, how can AI be used for building cloud native microservices? I think being the AI being the buzzword, and I think most organizations now getting into it. So Kiran, this is to you now. How you think is AI can be used?
Yeah. So I gave an example of one of the the retailer application crashing down back in 2017, right? Because they did not predict the footfall and the traffic, how much they would encounter during the rush hour of iPhone sale, right? There are some AI models like predictive maintenance AI models, which can be integrated with by making use of historical data, and we can predict the footfall of the customers, and with that we can enable the scaling of the systems, and we can have the better infrastructure managed. I think that is one of the case where I see predictive analysis would come very much handy for our infrastructure management.
Thanks, Kiran. I think there are, just to keep respect the time, and so we'll make sure there are a few more questions in that window. We'll make sure that each one of those get answered over the email. Now, just a quick recap, maybe one of you, if you can help us, just what we kind of gone through, takeaways.
Sure.
Sandeep, yeah.
I'll take that part, Manish. So takeaway from this webinar was we talked about cloud native microservices, how those microservices can be designed, what are the basic aspects, how we can help C-suite executives to have this transformation done, because this is one of the major challenge with the C-suite executive. How these cloud native microservices can help increase innovation. We talked about it, and we have some data which says that you can drastically improve your innovation. Faster time to market, we already talked, where one of the case study we talked that we reduce our 2 months delivery time to a sprint, so that all those innovations and the product can be launched to the customer. ROI, cost optimization, if you have all your automation, all your DevOps process in place, cloud native microservices there, of course, you'll have a cost optimization in terms of ROI. Agility is part of the overall framework. So this enables people, team, and the overall process to become agile. We talked about availability and improved scalability. That's the core part of microservices and the cloud platform. So we'll achieve high availability as well as improved scalability. We talked about all these things, and these are some of the very high level takeaways from this webinar, Manish.
That's great. Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks, Kiran, for that. The complete, I would say it's a journey through the cloud. Now, at the end, before we leave, I just want to make sure that all those, I hope you have, we have delivered a value to your time by having this more than 60 minutes with us. We would love to hear from you, and feel free to reach out to us, email at info@compunal.com, the website, or connect. So this is a LinkedIn address for these two gentlemen, so the experts. Feel free to reach out to them. Stay connected. And this is not the end of the journey, I think, which I mentioned earlier. This would be the beginning, and we would be, stay tuned, as said, in terms of few more exciting webinar sessions in the future. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining.